Hello everybody, it's Q&A Tuesday. As usual, guys, right off the bat, thank you once again for all your questions. It wouldn't be possible to have these episodes without you guys asking. Now, let's dive right into it. The first question comes from Watches and Sneakers. Used to have a Cindy Crawford poster too back in the day. Do you think the trend of big watches is dying down anytime soon? I'm going to give you a tricky answer to that one. To answer your question, yes, the trend for big watches has died, and the reason it has died is because it is no longer a trend. Bigger watches are now becoming the norm. Look at Audemars Piguet line, 44, 45 millimeter offshores. Look at even Rolex, who never ever followed any trends. They made bigger watches like the Yachtmaster 2 or the Sky Dweller, as well as the 41 millimeter Day-Date, which is actually now discontinued. They scaled it down back to a 40 millimeter watch, and the reason for that is because women were wearing those things, and they figured at 40 millimeters it can be a true unisex watch. Back in the day, a large watch was considered to be that's anything around 38 millimeters, 40 millimeters at max. An average size men's watch was 36 millimeters, and that was considered to be an average size men's watch. Now those are considered to be tiny watches. You got ladies' watches that are being manufactured at 37 millimeters. This is not a trend. This is here to stay. It is not going anywhere anytime soon. It is no longer a trend. As I said, it is the norm. Next question comes from Jimmy Sallow. Love the videos. Thank you. I have a question about your business. If you need to maintain a watch, do you have a watchmaker in-house, or do you send them to a company that services watches? I used to have a watchmaker in-house. In fact, I went through 3 different ones, and neither one of them were any good, and I let them go, and I decided to outsource that work. Good watchmakers are really, really hard to find nowadays because this is kind of like a dying profession. These guys are a dying breed. Most of the really, really good ones, they work for the manufacturers. They create watches or service watches in their service departments, and it's really, really hard to find a good one. Over the last 15 years, I managed to find 3, and these are the guys that I use on a regular basis. Again, they're difficult to work with because these people are like more artists rather than businessmen. So, you know, they take their time, and it usually takes forever to service a watch, but nevertheless, they do a great job. On this topic, I will tell you this. Everybody urges you to send your watches into the manufacturer to get service. Well, guess what? Majority of those service centers that do the work are not even in Switzerland. They're here stateside, and I use one of those service centers but for myself at a fraction of a cost. You send a watch in to get serviced. What is a service of a watch? They take the entire watch apart, they clean it in literally an ultrasonic machine that you use to clean jewelry. They put the watch back together, they put new fresh oil in it, they reseal it, they test it for accuracy, they test it for waterproofness if applicable, and they send the watch your way and they charge you $1,200. Why, when this is something you can get done around $200 to $300? If something breaks in your watch, this is when they really go to town on you, where they go, okay, we took your watch apart, and here's what you need to do. You need to replace this, that, the other. The rotor, a couple of screws need to be serviced, there's a couple of gaskets that need to be changed, and so on and so on. Before you know it, you're stuck with a $6,000, $7,000 bill for something that could have cost you $500 to $600 to spend. So I urge you to look for local watchmakers that are reputable. You can look for them through guys like us, or you can just find them online. They will do just as good a job as a manufacturer, and you will not spend an arm and a leg. Question from Kenny Rao. Hi Roman, love the channel, thank you. Are retrograde second movements reliable? Do they wear out faster or require more frequent servicing? The answer to your question is no. If you're buying a quality Swiss-made watch from any of the major brands that I have mentioned in these episodes from A to Z, every single one of those watches is expected to work to the T. There are exceptions to the rules. There were some models from certain manufacturers where they just didn't get the design right, and some of these retrograde movements have been breaking. Now, I've had more retrograde watches being serviced than, let's say, chronographs. It's true, and retrograde does have that unfortunate reputation of a watch that breaks easily or breaks more often. However, on an overall scale, they're not going to break much more than any other complication. And as I said, there are a few exceptions out there of models where the manufacturers just didn't get the design of the movement right from the first place, and that's why those watches were breaking. But don't be afraid to get out there and get yourself a retrograde movement. They do not require any more servicing than any other watch with any other complications. A watch should be serviced anywhere from 5 to 7 years. Whether it's a retrograde or chronograph or just a plain Jane watch, it doesn't make a difference. So no, they will not, for the most part, break more than the other watch, and they do not need more servicing than any other regular watch without the retrograde movements. Next question is from Moonshine Autos. What is your company, where is it, and where can I visit you? I thank you for that question because it allows me to do a shameless plug for my business, and my business is online. It's www.luxurybazaar.com. We are located in Southampton, Pennsylvania. We're in the suburbs of Philadelphia. We're not a retail shop, as you would expect, with showcases and salespeople and so on and so forth. Rather, we're a 20,000 square foot office with all the amenities of an internet company. You know, you come in here and you got guys laying around on beanbags. This is what we do. This is how we do it. So thank you for that question. Next question comes from Joe Whelan. This guy actually reached out to me on Facebook when I posted one of the YouTube episodes. And his question is, do watchmakers like Rolex and AP still make quartz watches? And if so, do they hold their value like automatics? Thanks very much for these great videos. You're welcome. When it comes to Rolex, Rolex only makes a few quartz models for their Cellini edition, which is the big store in New York City. Waldorf Astoria, you guys I'm sure heard of it. As far as AP, majority of the pieces that they make in quartz, in fact, probably I'm going to say all the pieces that AP makes today that are quartz are ladies' pieces. And guess what? They hold their value just the same. And why? I'll tell you why. A, they make less ladies' watches than they do men's. B, women don't sell their watches. There's always a shortage in the market, like the 33mm Royal Oak on a bracelet, whether it's in steel, whether it's in rose gold, or whether it's in yellow gold. There is a shortage in the market for those. They don't discount much. Why? Because there's no secondary market for them. When a woman buys a watch, odds are 9 out of 10 times she will never sell it, trade it. She'll just keep it and get herself another one. It's just how it is, I know. Most women don't care about maintaining their watches. They don't care about setting the time on their watches. They don't care for all that. They treat it as a piece of jewelry. And there's nothing better than a quartz watch for that particular reason. A battery in the quartz watch can last you 5 years. All they have to do is take their watch out of the jewelry box, put it on, not have to worry about setting the time or the date or none of that stuff, and wear it as a beautiful piece of jewelry. Now, the Rolex Cellinis, in terms of value, there's a problem there. Rolex Cellini line has historically always been somewhat of a flop, and I'm still shocked that they continue making those watches. I think the biggest reason they still make those watches is because it's sort of their dressy line, because Rolex doesn't really have any dress watches. They're all sports models, right? I mean, they have the jewelry-like watches like the Pearl Master for ladies and so on and so forth. And even that is still really not a dress watch. It's just dressier because of all the diamonds. The Cellini line, however, you know, with pieces such as these, they give you more of a dressier look, and or maybe Cellini still has a contract running with Rolex. I have no idea, to be honest with you, but that's my take on things. The value of Cellini Rolexes are crap. You buy a watch for $10,000, the minute you walk out the door, it will lose half of its value or more. And the reason for that is because it's not your typical Rolex. So whether it's quartz Cellini or an automatic Cellini, they will not hold their value. However, when it comes to ladies' pieces, and not just an AP, but other brands as well, a lot of the ladies' pieces will keep their value. But again, it all depends on current trends. This is what's hot now. Tomorrow, if it's not hot, ladies' pieces will take a dump in value just the same. So as long as a particular model stays hot, especially the AP models, you're good to go. Okay, let's do one more. Next question comes from Michael Wynn. Hi Roman, thanks for all the great videos. Thank you for watching. Just curious why Vacheron are no longer near as AP on the popularity level, but they're considered one of 3 holy trinity. Well, I love questions like this because it gives me a chance to throw a little bit of history around. And you know what? That's a great question, and I asked that question just the same to myself, not just about Vacheron, but some of the other brands that fall off here and there. Vacheron Constantin has been around since 1755. Vacheron Constantin survived the French Revolution. Vacheron Constantin is the guy that designed the first engine turn dial. I think back in the mid-1800s, 1855, Vacheron Constantin designed first non-magnetic watch, or a watch that could withstand magnetic fields by making some of the arms out of palladium. The balance wheels was not affected by magnets. I mean, a great feat in horology, especially if you're talking about going back 170 years. So Vacheron Constantin had a huge impact on the watchmaking history altogether. So why are these guys falling off? Well, it's called trends. I remember 15 years ago, I couldn't give away an Audemars Piguet offshore on a bracelet. And guess what? Today, good luck finding an offshore for more than 10, 15% off retail because they're selling like hotcakes. Trends changed. 3 to 4 years ago, you could not find more than 2 or 3 pieces of Vacheron Constantin on a shelf of an authorized dealer. Why? Because majority of those watches were selling in China, mainland China, and all over Asia. Those watches were deemed lucky. Those watches were the #1 selling brand alongside with Piaget in Hong Kong, in mainland China, in Singapore, and plenty of other Asian countries. I could not get my hands on enough Vacherons in order to be able to sell them to my customers that were in that part of the world, both for Vacheron and Piaget. Then what happened? Trends changed. Mainland China were no longer buying Vacherons. They were no longer buying Piagets. Today, you walk into an authorized dealer for Vacheron in United States, you'll find plenty of a selection, as well as you'll find plenty of selections in all the other boutiques in China or Hong Kong. I remember somebody told me that the Hong Kong Piaget boutique at that same time would sell more Piaget watches than all the other worldwide boutiques combined in a year. It was ridiculous. But then the trend died, and they died down. Does that make Vacheron a bad brand? Everything goes up and down. Everything goes in trends. You know, it's only a matter of time we may see Audemars Piguet or Richard Mille sort of on the bottom, and then Vacheron and Piaget back on the top. This company's been around for 270 some years. They're not going anywhere. Trends do change. Companies move with the trends. They reinvent themselves. They come out with new models, and the popularity spikes back up. And not to mention that there's always a hardcore following for a brand like this. And the guys that are hardcore Vacheron guys, they will never stop buying Vacheron. They'll continue buying their newer models, some of their older models, and they'll continue staying faithful to the brand, and it will do just fine. There's a reason why the Richmond Group bought Vacheron. Believe me, it was a great investment, and it will be a great investment for years to come. Well, guys, that concludes today's Q&A Tuesday. Once again, I want to thank you for tuning in, and I want to ask you for a favor. Everybody's commenting how much they love these videos. Well, in order for my channel to sort of go viral and get me more subscribers of girls and guys like yourself, is for you to share the work that I do here. So hit the share button, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time on Q&A Tuesday.